Joined by Mr. Sanjay Chadha, a senior advocate who practices in the top Indian court. Mr. Chadha, welcome to DD India News Hour. How do you view this verdict?
Well, this is a very important verdict, and I would say that it is in continuation to that the earlier judgment, 2018 judgment, which Vikas was mentioning. Now, this is a case per se. I just wanted to say that what was the challenge before the court? What was the challenge before these five judge bench where it basically Section 4 of Special Marriage Act was challenged, wherein what was the objective of Section 4 of the Special Marriage Act? It provides it facilitates the interfaith marriages, intercaste marriages, interreligion marriages. This is what is the objective. Now, what Supreme Court has said that we can't read the words which are not there. As Vikas has also said, that the court has very categorically mentioned that, look, we can't read those words in a different manner. If the word is provided something, so that will be taken, we have to read it that way only. And if at all such new word is to be added here, that is not our work. That is the work of the legislature, the parliament primarily, and if any state government also passes a law, it is their work. We can't go and pass such law. One more thing which is very, very important and relevant to be known to each one of us. If such word is replaced by saying, then it's a small thing, instead of husband, wife, spouse will be written. The answer is, it has an impact on, several laws. In the words of the government, the central government had said that it would impact at least 160 laws. What will happen to the succession law? What will happen to adoption law? What will happen to the marriage law, maintenance law? How we will change it? So it is not a very small issue to be taken into consideration. It has a vast impact. Okay. It has the people who are going to have an impact of this change, if at all this change is there, then it has a vast impact on it. Right to, about 10 days Supreme Court at length, these five judges heard it. Right to equality, right to privacy, right to legal privileges of marriage. All those things were discussed during the argument.
Mr. Chadha, if I understood you correctly, the court says, like you put it, we cannot read what is not there. Understood, fair enough. But in a sense, did the court just lob the ball in the legislature's court? I mean, what are the implications of this verdict?
Yes, exactly. The relief what the petitioner was seeking was that if two people of the same sex are trying to become, they are marrying, that is not recognized. It should be recognized, as in 2018, the Supreme Court has decriminalized the same sex. So on that basis, they had come before the court. It has been objected by central government on various things which I just mentioned, that it has an impact on various laws. It has an impact on, the impact on, as I said, various issues. What will happen to the adoption? How you will be adopting?
Right.
I have a different, like Vikas was saying that...
very quickly, Mr. Chadha, if you will.
Yeah, Vikas was saying, one correction I wanted to make. Vikas was saying that you can't buy insurance for the other person. No, if you are the same sex, you can buy insurance. That's one correction I just wanted to make.
All right.
But today, the court has very categorically said, right to marriage is not a fundamental right. All five judges were in this favor. Second, we can't change the law, which is already there. That is the Special Marriage Act.
All right. On that note, Mr. Chadha, thank you once again for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers. Appreciate it. India's top court declines to legalize same-sex marriage, says only Parliament can make the law. Take a look at what the top court has said so far. Now, Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud directs the national and state governments to ensure that there is no discrimination in access to goods and services to the queer community, governments to sensitize public about queer rights. The court asks the governments to create hotline for the queer community, create safe houses for queer couples who face violence, and ensure that intersex children are not forced to undergo operations. The Chief Justice says that the right to enter into a union cannot be restricted on the basis of sexual orientation, and unmarried couples, including queer couples, can jointly adopt a child. Vikas Sarthi joins us from New Delhi. Vikas, I want to hear from you. What did the court say?
Right, Ramesh. So there are four different judgments from 5 judges. The Constitution Bench was hearing this matter for quite some time, and today Chief Justice of India and Justice Sanjay K Chadha was of the opinion that the court cannot create any particular category on its own, and any kind of demand for legalization of same-sex couple or same-sex marriage can be done through only via parliament or through legislation. But they were of the opinion that certain rights and certain protections can be granted to these queer couples. But when we heard the rest of the 3 judges, they were of the opinion that we cannot create a particular category of any same-sex couples. There are existing laws, and under those laws only we can give those rights or those benefits or kind of protections to those queer couples. So it was very clear that majority was not in the support of giving any kind of particular treatment to same-sex couples, but they are of the view that there can be a committee of Government of India headed by the Cabinet Secretary, the senior most official in the Government of India, which will look into the grievances and the demands of these same-sex couples, because they were of the opinion that they have to face a kind of discrimination and they are not given benefits or kind of services which are being provided by the government because they are the part of same-sex couple. But the Supreme Court is of the opinion that it is purely a subject of central or state legislation, and Supreme Court is not going to grant any kind of status to same-sex couples.
Now, Vikas, you've spoken about the text of the verdict. Why don't you put the judgment in its proper context for our viewers? Why is this judgment significant?
Well, Ramesh, if we go to the history of this particular case, a number of couples approached the Supreme Court, and they were of the opinion that since the Supreme Court in 2018 has already decriminalized the homosexual couples, they now must be given a legal status, and they should be announced spouses. And they wanted a kind of amendment in the existing laws, like the Hindu Marriage Act of 1964, Special Marriages Act 1969, where they said that these laws should be gender neutral. The words husband and wife should be removed, and a gender neutral word like spouse should be added to those legislations. But court was of the opinion that this is a very complex subject, since it is related to a wider discussion in the society, whether these kind of status can be given, whether the same-sex couples can be granted status of a legally wed husband and wife. So that discussion went on in the Supreme Court for several days. Government of India was of the opinion that they were not against the decriminalization of homosexuality, but this particular subject will have its own implication. It will have a huge impact on the society as a whole. The problem here with the same-sex couple is that they cannot be granted legal status, that they cannot buy insurance for their partner, they cannot be made nominee in bank accounts, they cannot buy insurance policies in name of each other. So these are the practical issues before these same-sex couples, and they want that these hurdles should be removed by declaring that the marriage in India is also a gender neutral subject, like in some of these countries like USA. In fact, 35 countries have legalized. But today Supreme Court has clearly held that if they want this kind of relief, they must be they must approach to the right forum. The parliament is the right forum, the state assemblies are right forum. Any kind of amendment to the existing laws can be done by the elected representative of the people, and Supreme Court has very limited scope. It can only interpret the existing laws, and under the present laws, these laws cannot be made gender neutral. The words husband and wife in the Hindu Marriage Act or in the Special Marriage Act cannot be substituted with spouse or any gender neutral words.
All right, Vikas, thank you. Appreciate it.